Good Sunday morning to you all. We got some mission critical information out there, some big news that you probably haven't heard yet. We got to get into it, this Watchmen update. We got the U.S. Department of War preparing to invade another country, this time to eradicate Islamic terrorists. Tell me if you've heard this one before. And this is coming from the President of the United States, so this isn't some conjecture here. And let me see what we got here. A constitutional crisis. Yeah, haven't had one of those in the last couple weeks. And we got a major refinery fire in New Mexico that you need to know about. A judge says we can't check IDs for voter registration across the United States. Yeah, more of that junk. And polls are out on who the next president of the United States will be. We have both the Republican and the Democrat front runners. And Canada apologizes to Trump. Can you believe it? We got that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets us to the right place. Let us know what you guys are seeing on your store shelves. Let us know what you're hearing at your workplaces about supply chain crises and things that are coming down the pike. Thanks so much for being part of the Watchmen community. We also want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds. If you don't want to be invested in stocks and bonds with your retirement portfolio and want to get into something safer, there'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right. President Trump has been ordered by a district judge to move billions of dollars and fund the SNAP program, the food stamps. The problem is that that's illegal to do. The Constitution gives Congress the sole power of the purse, not the judiciary. The judiciary can't be like, spend this money on that, spend this money on that. The Supreme Court even just recently warned in Trump versus Casa that district judges have no business issuing nationwide orders or managing executive operations, which is exactly what this is. Telling a sitting president how to allocate funds that Congress hasn't appropriated walks straight into a separation of powers minefield. President Trump very well may look at this district judge and say, no, what are you going to do about it? This could be a massive constitutional crisis. Up to this point, the judiciary and the Supreme Court have walked away from direct confrontation with the president and with the executive branch, because when it really comes down to it, the only authority that the judiciary and the Supreme Court actually have are the fact that the other branches of government recognize that it has that authority. So this is a big deal. We're going to see how the president plays this out. He has now asked for the court to clarify the SNAP ruling because it doesn't make sense. It's an illegal order. You can't order the president to do something illegal, even if you are a judge. So we'll see how this plays out in the coming days. All right, a U.S. refinery fire. We have all these refineries in Ukraine burning. We got all these refineries in Russia burning. And suddenly we have refineries in the United States burning. At HF Sinclair Navajo refinery in New Mexico, a massive fire has broken out, injuring 3 workers. That refinery usually does about 100,000 barrels per day of oil. It's a pretty big one. It's the largest in New Mexico. And of course, we've had issues on the left coast with a major refinery over there. A lot of the hiccups with that refinery seem to be having passed, but now we have a New Mexico problem. All right, moving over to President of the United States in 2028. J.D. Vance is now estimated to have a 30% chance of being the next president of the United States. That's basically betting odds. And Gavin Newsom is a little bit further behind at 22%, but is the clear Democrat frontrunner. Republicans seem to have the lion's share of the options there. Gavin Newsom taking a little bite out of the pie, but not not really anybody else out there from the Democrat side. So it looks like Gavin Newsom might have the nomination for the Democratic president for Democratic nominee for president, right? All right, this is a big one out there. President Trump threatening direct military action in Nigeria now. Before he was saying, we don't like what they're doing and we're going to do stuff, but it was kept vague. And they designated them as a country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act, which requires the United States to monitor and to put pressure on the governments that are persecuting people for religious beliefs around the world. So that was laid to rest. The ambiguity there was laid to rest when President Trump got onto Truth or Twitter or whatever, saying going in guns a-blazing to Nigeria to wipe out the Islamic terrorists. He has ordered the Department of War to prepare for possible action. So making there's no veil here. This is just naked, a threat. It's a threat, okay? We're threatening to suspend foreign aid. We're threatening direct military action into Nigeria if they don't stop killing the Christians, and the government there will be overthrown by the U.S. military. Now, Nigeria probably would be a pretty straightforward overthrow, but it's not a small country, and it's not an unpopulated country either. But they really haven't had much experience with Western militaries, so these folks would not know what's coming for them if the United States were to drop on them. But of course, I'm generally speaking against the United States getting involved militarily in other countries. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. I don't like them killing massive amounts of Christians just for their faith. But then, on the other hand, I don't like seeing the United States getting militarily involved in other countries. Let me know what you guys think on that one. That's a tough one. All right, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's investment company. Their cash pile has hit an all-time record high, and it's actually jumped up by quite a bit just recently. They are dumping stocks, and they're getting into cash. What do they know that the rest of us don't seem to know? All right, General Motors is cutting roughly 1,700 jobs at factories in Michigan and Ohio as the automaker scales back production in response to slowing demand for electric vehicles. If you're going to buy an electric vehicle, why are you buying anything other than a Tesla? That's the question out there. But auto sales are down. People just can't afford new cars. So these automakers are, it's not just electric cars, it's all cars. People are in tough straits and they're not really able to go out and get new cars. So that's just the latest in the most recent round of layoffs. We've had tens of thousands of layoffs from several companies, and it's just, the economy is slowing down. And there's no way of getting around that. A federal judge on Friday, yes, another one, permanently blocked part of the executive order from the president, ruling that the president cannot require voters to show passports or similar documents as proof of citizenship before voting. Can't do it. Can't make them actually show that they're citizens before allowing them to register or allowing them to vote. You can't even make this stuff up. It's like it is legalized. Cheating is legalized in the United States. And these judges are just absolutely out of control. At some point, the Trump administration, I really feel, is going to just look at the judiciary and say, no, Supreme Court, you need to rein in your district court judges, or else we're just going to start ignoring all these orders. because this is absolutely ridiculous. The judiciary does not have the right to micromanage the executive branch. The executive branch has the authority to manage the federal government. Judges cannot sit there and just do whatever they want and play puppeteer to the President of the United States. And the President can, at his discretion, just say no. And at that point, you know, the judiciary is saying yes and the President saying no. The President has troops and the judiciary doesn't. So guess who wins? And that's what the judiciary has been trying to avoid. Prime Minister Carney of Canada has apologized to President Trump over their anti-tariff ads. Now, this anti-tariff ad basically pulled out of context President Reagan clips from some speeches speaking on tariffs. It was an attempt to put pressure on the White House. It wasn't meant for people. It was meant to embarrass and to attack the President of the U.S. In these trade negotiations, and it was recognized as such. So much so that the Prime Minister of Canada has now apologized. That just kind of tells you whether it was a real deal or not, because wouldn't apologize if it wasn't, were they? American Mom says, Pasco County, Florida, Aldi. I got the last butterball turkey. There were very few of the cheaper turkeys left, and vegetables were sparse. Items seem spread out that are food, but tons of non-food items all over the Aldi. At self-checkout, all self-checkout lines were removed. We've heard that from a lot of you guys. You went to Aldi and boom, all the self-checkouts gone. Too much theft. Asked, and the worker said theft issues. I had to go to Aldi because my Walmart delivery butterball was out of stock for my order. Encourage everyone to go to Walmart and sign up for Walmart delivery for safety to get your groceries to your home, 10 cents off gas, Paramount Plus for free. It is worth your safety. I will say this also about Walmart. I think it's Walmart Plus, is it? The subscription, they usually have like a sale once or twice a year where they drop it down to $50 for the year. Normally it's like $99 a year, but like usually once or twice a year they drop it down to $50. So you can always wait for that and then get I think it's worth it at $50. I wasn't really sure that it was worth it at $99, but you know, if you have a bigger family, if you get a lot of groceries and you just don't have time to go to the store very much, it can be really useful. Or if you're concerned about your safety. Erica says, I shopped at Aldi and there were no packages of ramen. Went to another one a couple miles away, also no ramen. South of Houston and Pasadena, Texas. Cindy says, the police have parked cruisers outside both entrance and exit doors of the Walmart my son's family shops at in Thomaston, Maine. So increased security for sure. Stephen says, we haven't received mail in 3 days, even though I'm getting an email from U.S. Postal Service stating that they're delivering multiple items per day. I checked yesterday afternoon and our neighbors are not receiving mail either. This is in rural Central California near Fresno. Gene says, errands done yesterday, southern Middle Tennessee. The Dollar Tree had no rice other than the 20-ounce bag of parboiled rice. I usually buy the 2-pound bags. I bought what they had. Food seemed well stocked, but today's the day that all could change. Food Lion looked normally stocked. Of course, this report is from yesterday. Next errand trip is next week. Going to Good Samaritan with a friend who has a boomstick. It will be interesting. Elaine, Aldi in Northeast Iowa has condensed their canned vegetables their fruit and their beans to about 1/4 of the aisle. No longer selling stewed tomatoes, which is, I love Aldi stewed tomatoes. They're great. Cashier said she hasn't seen them in a while. Plenty of 50-cent canned corn, but not one can of green beans in the store. It was busy, so I wasn't able to see what else is no longer being sold in that section. Yeah, we're seeing definite shifts and changes out there, shortages, products disappearing, and Aldi is making a lot of big shifts. Fine arts is life, says Perry County, Illinois. Walmart added more security before the weekend, also offering security escorts to your car while you load groceries. So if you're concerned about going to the store, you can check to see if your Walmart is also offering security escorts to your car. This is in response to certain individuals bragging about how if security is increased inside, they'll steal groceries from shoppers in the parking lots, which is absolutely insane. These people don't belong in the United States. They don't belong on Earth, really. If you're a thief, you should be locked up. If you're going to steal people's groceries from little old ladies, if you're going to steal groceries from the weak and the vulnerable, no. Society really should not tolerate that in any way, shape, or form. Anyone threatening that online should be punished for that. I mean, honestly. Inciting people to crimes is a crime, even in the U.S. Murphy says, I purchased 10 pounds of 90-10 ground beef and 10 pounds of 80-20 ground beef earlier this summer at BJ's for a total of $70. Today, that same purchase is $110. Good times. This is the Berkshires, Western Massachusetts. Prices are up on beef, for sure. Henry says, yesterday I went to Stater Brothers and the manager told me that he wanted to walk me to the car with my groceries. I said, okay. But he said and was worried that I'd get robbed on the way to the car. This is Southern California checking in. All right, Flyer Patty says Fort Mojave, Arizona, which is just south of Bullhead City. I shopped at Smith's and then across the street to Safeway. I like to hit the specials. That way you're not driving anywhere, just right across the street. Parking lot, pretty empty coming out. Smith's morning was the slowest I've ever seen. The parking lot was pretty good. Safeway across the street, the parking lot looked pretty good. But there was only one person in front of me when I checked out, and there were only 2 registers. So cars outside, but nobody inside apparently. Smith's also only had 1 register open, but they opened a second register when they just got a few. For once, they had plenty of registers open there for the amount of people trying to check out. Michelsi says, I was in Aldi in northwestern Pennsylvania yesterday. The prices were the same as Walmart, and some were even a little higher. I buy the packs of rice for my husband that are 99 cents, and even though the shelf tag said 99, they rang up at $1.35. I found the only deal was the butter at $3.49. Only saved about 20 cents compared to Walmart. It was disappointing for me because it's a long drive for me to get there, and I literally saved nothing. Aldi usually is a little bit cheaper than Walmart, but apparently that's changing. Solitaire says, I headed to a friend's to help them set up a few solar panels and a power bank for a shed. Inside they had an electric radiator with a grill grate and a performing retaining wall stone on top. It was a big stone. I asked about it and he said it was to keep his coffee warm. But in actuality, it's a heat sink. If the power goes out, the stone will be in the last thing to radiate heat. A block like that would probably last a while before it cools off. So a big stone that is heating with solar power in order to then be able to bring into the home to keep your home nice and warm. That's another thought for you guys out there. Thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group, there's a link right there on the screen. Just tap on that, fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. If If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.